How was it nice, sir?
Very fine, ma. Good morning, Madam Monaji.
God
Welcome.
bless. Thank you, sir.
All right, so today is Friday, the 18th of October, 2024. Good morning, Macaulay and Mr. Olabi. So today, just some few minutes ago, data was released from the United Kingdom. That is the retail sales, and it came out good for the pound. We can see that all green, and there's been a reaction on the pound pairs, the GBP pairs. I've seen them moving in the bullish direction as a result of that news event. So that's already a past event. Good morning, Aldi. So we'll look at the other events we'll have for today. And funny, the next event is by 1:30 p.m. and that falls under the New York session analysis. So we'll just leave that to the afternoon analysis. So let's flip over to the technicals to see what we still have possibly for this morning. So I'm flipping over now to my chart, and I have quite some interesting setup here. First, I will look at gold. Now, the dollar and gold, dollar is technically very strong, but gold is also doing its own thing. So we might have to just trade both of them with a lot of caution. You might have to wait to see what is happening on one before you take a decision on the other. Now, this is gold on the daily time frame. Good morning, Mr. Abubakar. This is gold on the daily time frame. You can see here we have a valid rising wedge pattern on the daily time frame, and price has touched the trend line 3 times, forming higher highs. And this is a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. So we should have a next wave, which should be a higher low, technically speaking. So price is just testing this trend line up there. And if price is unable to break out above, that level, then we should see a decline in price. Now, I just started something also. Price is just trading around the psychological level. Maybe that may act as a form of a resistance if that will stop gold, because it looks like gold is just getting ready to do some massive bullish movements, probably to round up the year. All right, so you can see it's still trading around a psychological level. And that's why it's so funny, because technically dollar is bullish, but then gold, which is meant to be bearish, is also bullish. So that's why I say for now, please be careful with both the dollar and gold. Let's know what is really happening, or let's see what is going on before you take a trade. So gold is trading on this rising wedge pattern, and currently is around a resistance level and the upper trend line of the rising wedge. If the volatility drops, if there is more strength on the dollar, that may lead to a volatility drop on gold, and that may see gold drop. That's what I'm seeing. If the volatility in the dollar, sorry, if there's more volatility on the dollar, rather, if the dollar gets more bullish, then that can lead to a weakening of gold, and we may see a decline, in gold. So we might still be looking for an opportunity possibly to sell gold if there's more strength on the dollar. Currently, on 1 hour, the previous candle here is a rejection candle, and but I would not say sell, because we don't know yet what could happen, except if we see a much more clearer pattern that might want to push us in the bearish direction. Possibly we see a double top or a head and shoulder. I wouldn't just want to use a candlestick to base alone to base to have a decision either to want to buy or sell gold at this time, because it's not really been stable. We need more confirmation before we can trade. But technically for now, I want to hold a bearish outlook. Like now, I'm seeing a minor rising wedge pattern on the 15 minutes. So if price is able to break out here downwards, fine, we may look at selling gold. So let's just wait and see how that works out before we take a trade. So technically, I would say I hold a bearish outlook, but I want to see a lot of factors lining up to confirm that before we look at a sell on gold. Now, New Zealand JPY is another pair I want to look at. The JPY pairs That was the time they were trending downwards for weeks, for like a month thereabout. Now it's time for them to go bullish, but then we've been experiencing a lot of range. But nevertheless, for the New Zealand JPY, I'm seeing price is trading within a symmetrical triangle. And by now we know the rule around our symmetrical. If it breaks out upward, it's a buy. If it breaks out downwards, it's a sell. So let's see where price breaks out. Though on one angle, I'm seeing a reversal pattern forming here. If this forms all well, then we might be expecting a bullish breakout. But then let's just wait and see how it happens. But if that doesn't work out, generally speaking, a breakout downwards too will result into a sell. So let's watch out for New Zealand JPY. Now, currently this is on 4 hour, but I believe let's go down to 1 hour. So this is it on 1 hour. If this works out, I think that we're really having a reversal pattern, which may be pointing us in the bullish direction on the New Zealand JPY. So if this works out just as I'm seeing on the 1 hour, then we might be looking to take a buy on New Zealand JPY if price is able to break out. If price is able to break out above this minor resistance. So if price is able to break out above this minor resistance, we should look at taking a buy on the New Zealand JPY. And if that happens, we might be looking at a 25 pip take profits at this first high, which is close to the current, to where price is at the moment. That can give us 25 pips, which is just very good, for intraday trading. And the next high level up there can give us as much as, let's see, as much as 65 pips. So that could be good for swing. So for day trading, we can look at targeting 25 pips if price breaks above the current, the recent high, and the next level if you're doing swing trading, that can give about 65 pips. So I'm bullish on the New Zealand JPY. All right, so I'm bullish on the New Zealand JPY. And all week I've been bearish on the GBP AUD, and I still maintain my bearish outlook. Will it break out today? Well, we can only watch and see and wait. Let me say watch and wait till it happens. But then I have a high probability setup on the GBP AUD, which I've been watching the better part of the week. If it doesn't break out this week, maybe next week. Anyhow, but what matters is that I anticipate a breakout on this instrument. So let me remove some of the lines so that I can explain better. So this is GBP AUD on the daily time frame. And we can see we have a pattern that looks like a falling wedge pattern. And there was a rejection candle earlier on in the week. So price in a falling wedge, we're looking for the next wave of movement, which should be a bearish wave. So we've had a lower high and a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. The next wave should be a lower low, which should be a downtrend. And having price touch the trend line the first time, second time, and the third time with a rejection candle is also giving us, a view of a bearish continuation, on New Zealand JPY. Sorry, on GBP AUD. Just a second, please. Just a second. I'm trying to sort out something. All right. So we're looking at a wave, a bearish wave on the on the GBP AUD. So price later on also, the rejection candle hit a resistance level over there. So what I'm just trying to prove to you is that we're looking for a massive bearish breakout on this instrument. And if you flip down to the 4-hour time frame, I think it's getting clearer now. I think it's trying to now form a head and a shoulder, which will now lead to the massive breakout. So I still maintain my bearish outlook. If it breaks out this week, oh well. If not, even if it's next week, I'm going to track this instrument down, and milk the pips out of it. So I still have my bearish outlook on this instrument. So if you're there, you're a swing trader, don't lose sight of the GBP AUD. We have a powerful downtrend, and I think this may go up a little more so that the news, the retail sales from the UK this morning came out good for the pound. So that's why it's going up there. So then we should be expecting the next wave, which should be the second shoulder and a crash, which should give us a massive number of pips, on this instrument. So I still hold a bearish outlook on the GBP AUD. And I think the same thing is also applicable to the GBP New Zealand. That is also, yeah, that one is also forming a reversal pattern. Now for the GBP New Zealand, this is it on the daily time frame. And we can see there was a rejection candle some few days ago. We have a valid rejection candle up here. And both of them having a resistance. We have a resistance. So rejection candle resistance indicates we're looking for an opportunity to sell. And finally, if we switch over now to the 4-hour time frame, we'll see that this is also trying to form a head and shoulder before we see the crash. So this is the shoulder, the head, the second shoulder. Price may still go up a little more on the GBP New Zealand. Then from there, we'll see a crash. So I anticipate a massive bearish crash on both the GBP AUD and the GBP New Zealand. Though in real sense, I don't think, except for market condition, market structure change, this may not really happen today. But let's just see. We can't really say because once price touches, anything can happen. But let's just watch and see. But technically, I'm just bearish on this instrument. Whenever it happens, if it happens today, all well and good. If it happens on Monday, all well and good. But then I'm really putting my eyes on both GBP AUD and the GBP New Zealand, and I'm bearish on both of them. Now, somebody has been asking about BTC. Yes, BTC is part of the instrument I'm watching today. This is today's setup. I'm watching it very closely. And this is BTC. I'm holding a bearish outlook on the BTC USD. Let me just remove all the lines. All right, so if you go to the weekly time frame, you see that BTC currently is trading at a weekly resistance level. And not only that, not only is BTC trading around, not around, exactly on the weekly resistance level, there's also a descending channel where everything forms a confluence at this point. That is the resistance and the trend line. Both of them, let's go to the daily. We'll get it clear on the daily. You can see there has been a wave, a downward wave. Now the next wave is this way. And the lower highs, price touched the lower high, the lower high, the lower high, and the current candle is touching the lower high. So here is a confluence where we have the resistance and the trend line, both of them touching the current candle on the daily time frame. So if you switch over to the 4-hour, I'm seeing what looks a lot here like a shoulder, a head. No, sorry, that's not it. Okay, let's just say this wave, a shoulder, a head, a second shoulder, and the next thing I'm expecting is a bearish movement on BTC. I'm seeing a head and shoulder there. I may not have done it too correctly, but that's what I'm saying. That's 4 hour. I've actually been anticipating a crash on this instrument all week long. So this might just be what I've been waiting for. But on 1 hour, I think it's clear on 1 hour. And this is where we can have the neckline on the 1 hour. So this can be our shoulder here, our head, a second shoulder. Then we should be expecting a crash. Yes, it looks as if price is trending up at the moment, but let's not just get distracted or carried away by that. I work a lot with the patterns. So let's just see how this works. If price is unable to break out above this level and reverses, then we should be getting ready for a massive crash on the BTC USD. So I hold a bearish outlook on BTC USD. So this is it. We should be anticipating a crash in price, at least to Fibonacci 23.6 or Fibonacci 38.2 today. Price should be able to crash at least to these two levels, all things being equal. So at least the first level being 23.6, the second level being 38.2, possibly today. So I hold a bearish outlook on the BTC USD. So you can trade it either as a day trader or a swing trader, whichever one is your area of strength. You can trade it either ways and you'll still be fine. So we're bearish on the BTC USD. And finally, for our indices trader or traders, I'm also looking at NAS 100. All right, so this is NAS 100. If you go to the weekly time frame, we can see that price hits the weekly resistance during the course of this week. You can see here, this is this week's candlestick, which is more or less trying to form a doji. Though the week is yet to be over. The week is yet to be over, but then this is already forming a kind of a rejection candle. Anything can still happen in the course of today. Then if we go down to the daily, you see, I mentioned this a couple of days ago that we had a bearish engulfing candlestick here, which we expected to lead to a bearish movement, but that never happened. But last night, price closed as a rejection candle that touched the weekly resistance. So two reversal points here, the bearish engulfing candle, rejection candle. Then I think this guy is getting ready for that crash we've been anticipating. I remember analyzing this during the week, at the beginning of the week, and saying I was bearish on it. So maybe this is the time for this instrument to really break out into that bearish angle that we've been anticipating. So I can draw my trend line up there and draw a second one at the back and still have a rising wedge, which is another confirmation of a sell. So I'll go over to the 4-hour time frame, and this is what I have on 4-hour. So you can trade this either on 4-hour or daily. All I'm expecting is a breakout below this lower trend line to trigger a sell on NAS 100. RSI is currently at 50. Please confirm at the point of entry that your RSI is clearly below 50. And if you're trading it on 1 hour, you can do that also. Just wait for a new candle to break out below this lower trend line, and you can trigger a sell on NAS 100. For 1 hour time frame also, RSI is at 51. Please ensure that your RSI is clearly below 50 by the time you want to trigger a sell. All right, so these are the instruments I've analyzed for us today, which you can put our eyes on. Now, I purposely left out USD card, though I'm looking at it closely. And the reason why I left it out is because it seems to we're having a conflict between it and BTC. But whichever one works out, I think that's what we should be more concerned about. Now, I said earlier in the week that I was bearish on the USD card, and I still remain bearish on it. But because for the USD card, the dollar is the base currency. Gold The dollar is a quote currency. Gold currently is bullish, though we're expecting a reversal. And the USD card also is looking bearish. It's looking bearish. So we cannot expect gold to sell and USD card to sell at the same time. So what I would say is this: if you're a gold trader, look out for gold trade. If you're USD, you trade in major currencies, look out for USD card, but don't trade both of them together. That would be my warning. And for the USD card, this looks a lot like a swing setup, because for the USD card on the daily time frame, you can see I've analyzed this instrument multiple times during the week. We had a rejection candle some days ago that hit the lower resistance on the weekly time frame. And with that rejection candle, we actually expected a bearish breakout. So I think the bearish movement is really getting into motion, because I'm expecting this is looking more like we're having a head and a shoulder, and a massive crash is expected on the USD card. So if the dollar gets weak and the USD card sells, definitely gold may go higher. Gold may rally. It may go more in the bullish direction. But let's just watch out and see how this works out. So for the USD card, we may be looking at our entry once price breaks below the neckline. Once we have a breakout below the neckline, it all depends on how the market moves. It may trigger today or not. But let's just put our eyes on this. All right, so that'll be all from my end this morning. I've analyzed quite about 6 instruments. For gold, we could be technically bullish at the moment, but let's just wait for what happens. For USD card, I am bearish on USD card. I'm bearish, except the dollar changes direction. I'm bearish on the USD card. For New Zealand JPY, even though it's a symmetrical triangle, but currently it's looking bullish. So we'll look out for a bullish breakout, either on 1 hour or 4 hour. You can trade it depending on your trading style. For GBP AUD, it's a 4-hour swing setup, and we're bearish on that one. And we're likewise bearish on the GBP New Zealand on 4-hour. And for BTC USD, we saw a head and shoulder, at a weekly resistance level and a trend line. So we're bearish on BTC on both 1 hour and 4 hours. So you can trade it as a sell trade. Either you're a day trader or a swing trader. And for NAS 100 also, we're bearish on both 1 hour or 4 hour. All right, so that'll be all from my end. I'll attend to questions right now. So if you have a question, you can just go ahead and drop it. So I've seen that there are quite some requests here. Cybroid, my question is, sometime when there is news in other currency, it affects gold a little bit. Now, the truth is, can you please explain this? The truth is this: anytime there's a high impact news, it may affect other currency pairs. So it doesn't mean that once there's a news, it's only the currency in question that will be affected. That's why generally we say that when there's a high impact news ahead, it's not the time for you to enter a fresh trade, especially 2 hours before the release of a data. It's advisable you don't enter a new trade, because the news may affect the other currency. So don't feel that, oh, the news that's coming up is on the pound, but I'm trading gold. It should not affect it. It may affect it. Some of these fundamental events are interwoven. It affects different countries, not only, yes, the impact will be more felt on the currency of the country in question, but then the effect may affect the effect of that data release may have its own consequences on other countries' currency, because some of these countries, they are trade partners. So you don't think that because the UK, the news came out from the UK, it should not affect maybe Canada. But don't forget that Canada and UK, they are trade partners. So whatever decision that is taken on the data in the UK may affect Canada. I'm just trying to use that to explain. So that's the way it was. So don't assume that it's not going to affect. It could affect. So that's why when there's a news ahead, the best, if you are already on the running trade, the best you can do is to make sure you have your stop loss in place, just in case the news, affects the current trade you are on, which has nothing to do even with the data that is being released. We've looked at gold, Mr. Ikman, USD JPY, Mohammed, Euro USD. All right, so let's look at both the USD JPY and the Euro USD. All right, for me, for Euro USD, I will want to wait for price to hit this support before I decide on what to do. And I think that's what I said possibly yesterday. I will want to see a drop, before we look for an opportunity to buy. So if that is not happening, then I can't give any view on the USD, Euro USD for now. So if you want to trade Euro USD, wait for a drop, then a reversal. And that may happen in the course of today, all things being equal. So let's go down to the 1 hour. So this is what we may be looking for to trade the Euro USD. We want to see price drop here. Now, don't say because I said we expect price to drop, you now enter a sell saying that it will always go there. Don't do that. Wait, trade what you see. Wait till it happens. So when we're looking at drawing our trend line there and possibly the second one at the back to form a falling wedge pattern. So price may drop. And when it drops to hit this support zone, two things will happen. It may form a double bottom, then breakout, or it may form an inverse head and shoulder, then reverse. Or it may not form any of those things and just still break out outrightly, whichever way it comes. All we are waiting for is that we're waiting for price to drop to this support, then reverse to look at an opportunity to buy. So that's my view on the Euro USD. And for for USD JPY, currently you can see that this instrument is in a range. So trade with a lot of caution. It's been ranging for some days. And that really shows that there's no sufficient volatility to push price on this instrument. This is the daily time frame. Let's go back to the 4-hour. There's a 4-hour view and 1-hour view. So it's currently ranging. Let's check the dollar index. All right, so I'm just seeing the new information here. Dollar index, there's a support turn resistance level here for the dollar index. Yeah, so we have a support turn resistance for the dollar index. So if this level holds, that's on the daily time frame. If it holds, you may see a decline in the dollar. And if that happens, just like I said for the USD CAD, that may make the USD CAD to crash in a bearish direction. And if it happens, that may mean that gold may continue going higher, though that is still subjective because today being Friday and gold is, oh, it looks like it's dropping. Just be careful with gold. Anything can happen. It may go back up. Be very, very careful with gold. So if the dollar is having a bearish outlook, then we may still hold on to our view on the bearish look on the USD CAD. And for the USD JPY that this person requested, it's possible we may be expecting a bearish movement because I can see that this is 1 hour. Yeah, it's ranging on the daily, but on the 1 hour, I can see we have a valid trend line up there. And we can still draw a second one to form a rising wedge. So we have the upper part there as a resistance, and we may still expect, a bearish movement. Yeah, it's possible to still have a bearish movement on the USD JPY. But then just generally speaking, trade this instrument with a lot of caution because nevertheless, it's still ranging. So except there is sufficient volatility later in the day, and we really don't have very serious dollar news today. So I would advise you to trade with a lot of caution on the USD JPY. It could sell in the real sense, but not with massive volatility like that. So take caution. That's the general counsel I can give you. Okay, every other person is asking about Euro USD and USD JPY. So I've analyzed all of them. Okay, Mr. Olabi is asking about Euro New Zealand. All right, Euro New Zealand, I've been bearish on this instrument. I think it's one of my major analysis for the week, but there has been a range. We've not, okay, one reason why there has been a range is that we've not also had a New Zealand news this week. I'm not sure there was a news from New Zealand, so price didn't have that sufficient volatility because I remember analyzing this to form a head and shoulder, head, a second shoulder, and we expected a breakout, but that has not been happening. So, well, we can still see we have that neckline region, but price has not clearly broken out below it. So if price breaks out below it, yes, definitely we'll still have a sell, but today is Friday, trade it with a lot of caution. If you want to take a sell on this, it's still possible, but price needs to break out below this support zone. Otherwise, I would just say maybe you just ignore it. I've given many other instruments that you can put your attention on. You can see we have a valid setup. It will still sell. It will still sell. I remember this setup. I said on the big picture, we have a like a symmetrical triangle forming, kind of on the daily time frame. Then we have a resistance zone, and we should have a downward trend. And on the daily, this is actually forming a head and shoulder, which will lead to a breakout. It will still sell, but maybe I don't know when. I don't know when. We don't have that push in the market. But then if price breaks this support zone, we still see a sell on the New Zealand USD. Sorry, Euro New Zealand, pardon me. All right, so that will be all from my end this morning. I've attended to all the requests and I've shown you my view on the instruments I've analyzed. Please make sure you trade with a lot of caution. Use the right lot size when trading. And don't forget today's Friday. There could be some erratic movements in the market later in the afternoon. So make sure you are always cautious and you have your stop loss on every time you're placing a trade. And if you're on the platform this morning, you don't have an account with PU Prime, please head over to our website, www.puprime.com. You can open a live account there and your account manager will reach out to you afterwards and guide you through the verification process. All right, we'll see you again some other time. Take care, bye-bye, and have a great weekend ahead.